Have you ever felt drained after talking to someone? Or maybe you've noticed that no matter how much effort you put into a relationship, it only brings you pain and disappointment? Today, we're going to talk about a very simple but powerful truth. The people you allow in your life have the power to shape your happiness or destroy it. And there are certain behaviors that, if you see them repeatedly, are red flags. Ignoring them could cost you your peace, your energy, and even your self respect. This video will help you recognize those signs and give you the courage to make a choice that protects your well being. The problem we are solving here is simple. Many of us stay in relationships, friends, family, colleagues, even romantic, where we are undervalued, disrespected, or drained. We ignore warning signs, thinking things will get better. But some behaviors are non negotiable. Today, we'll learn which ones and why removing such people from your life is not just okay, it's necessary for your growth. Boundaries are not walls. They are the lines that define your emotional, mental, and physical space. They are a declaration that your peace matters, that your time is valuable, and that your heart deserves respect. Yet, there are people in our lives who ignore these lines, who push and push until you feel small, frustrated, or exhausted. It starts subtly. Maybe they call at odd hours, expecting you to drop everything. Maybe they make demands or pressure you into things that make you uncomfortable. At first, you excuse it. Maybe they're having a bad day, or maybe they just don't realize. But when the pattern repeats, that's not ignorance, that's disrespect. That's disrespect. Repeatedly ignoring boundaries is a signal that someone doesn't value you as a person. They see your kindness, your flexibility, or your love not as a gift, but as a permission slip to walk over you. And here's the truth many of us avoid facing. No matter how patient, forgiving, or loving you are, some people will loving you are, some people will never change if they benefit from your tolerance. Staying in that relationship is like giving someone permission to treat you poorly again and again. Cutting someone out doesn't mean you are cruel. It means you are wise. It means you recognize that your emotional health is more important than someone else's momentary discomfort at being told no. Protecting your boundaries is an act of self-respect. It is not selfish. It is sun balloons on the street. It is survival. When you consistently enforce your boundaries, you are also teaching the world how to treat you. You might worry about being misunderstood, about being labeled harsh or cold. But here's the reality: anyone who truly cares for you will respect your limits. Anyone who doesn't, no matter what excuses they give, is costing you more than you realize. Your peace, your energy, your happiness. And life is too short to spend it on people who continuously erode your boundaries. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it feels like losing someone you've invested in for years. But imagine the freedom you feel when the weight of constant disrespect is lifted from your shoulders. Imagine the clarity and calm that come when your space is no longer invaded. That is the kind of peace you deserve, and the kind of peace that comes when you cut out those who cannot or will not respect your boundaries. Have you ever been around someone and after just a few minutes you feel exhausted, heavy, or anxious, even if nothing bad happened? That's the constant negativity. Some people have a habit of seeing the worst in every situation, complaining endlessly, or focusing on problems instead of solutions. At first, it might seem harmless. You tell yourself, maybe they just need support or I can help them see the brighter side. But when negativity becomes a pattern, it stops being about them. It starts affecting you. Energy is contagious. Your mind and body pick up on it, sometimes without even realizing it. Being around someone who is always negative can slowly chip away at your optimism, your motivation, and even your confidence. You might start doubting your decisions, feeling anxious about the future, or questioning your self worth. Life becomes heavier not because of your own struggles, but because you're carrying someone else's constant pessimism on your shoulders. The challenge is that people who drain your energy rarely admit it. They might justify their behavior, claim they're realistic, or even accuse you of being too sensitive. But the truth is simple. Everyone has the right to protect their energy. You are allowed to step back from people who consistently bring gloom instead of light. You don't owe anyone your mental or emotional strength just because they lack it themselves. Cutting out someone who drains you isn't about abandoning them in their struggles. It's about preserving your own ability to thrive. If you try to fix or tolerate someone who consistently saps your energy, you end up being the one who suffers. Your goals, your happiness, and your mental clarity start slipping because your attention is always consumed by their negativity, and life is too precious to live under that shadow. You might feel guilty at first, like you're leaving them behind, but here's a perspective many people don't consider. Removing toxic energy from your life doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care enough about yourself to remain strong, calm, and focused. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and others is to create distance. Because only when you protect your own energy can you truly help inspire or support others in a meaningful way. Remember, life is not a training ground for tolerating constant negativity. It's a space to grow, to create, and to enjoy the moments that make your heart feel light. People who drain your energy are obstacles to that joy. Recognizing them and deciding to step away is an act of courage, self-respect, and wisdom. When you choose to distance yourself from those who pull you down, you make room for people who uplift, inspire, and energize you, helping you live a life full of light, purpose, and positivity. One of the most damaging behaviors a person can show is manipulation or dishonesty. At first, it may seem subtle, a half truth here, an exaggerated story there, a situation twisted to their benefit. You might convince yourself, maybe I misunderstood, or they didn't mean it that way. But manipulation and lies rarely appear as blatant at first. They slowly seep in, eroding trust, making you question your own judgment, and leaving you walking on eggshells around someone who should have your respect. Manipulation is designed to control you, to shift the power balance in someone else's favor. It may appear as guilt tripping, gaslighting, or constant advice disguised as concern. Lies may come in the form of omission, leaving out the truth to make themselves look better, or direct falsehoods meant to confuse you. And over time, what starts as small, seemingly harmless actions builds into a toxic pattern that undermines your self-confidence, your clarity, and your peace of mind. Relationships, whether friendships, family ties, or partnerships, should be built on trust. Should be built on trust. Without it, the foundation crumbles, no matter how much time or effort you have invested. Being manipulated or lied to repeatedly is a clear signal that someone does not value you or your feelings. They are placing their own needs, desires, or insecurities above your respect and dignity. And here's a hard truth: no matter how much you love them or how patient and understanding you are, consistent manipulation on the street, consistent manipulation or dishonesty rarely changes without accountability, and often accountability never comes. Cutting someone out in these circumstances is not about being harsh. It's about protecting your mind and soul. Staying in a relationship where lies and manipulation are present is like planting seeds in barren soil. You invest, nurture, and hope for growth, but nothing good ever comes. Your energy is drained, your trust is broken, and your peace is drained, your trust is broken, and your peace is compromised. Protecting yourself is not selfish. It's essential. When you step away from someone who manipulates or deceives, you reclaim your clarity and power. You no longer second guess yourself or bend to another person's twisted version of reality. You stop being trapped in their emotional games. And instead, you create a space where honesty, respect, and authenticity can thrive. It's a reminder that your emotional health is more important than keeping someone in your life out of habit, fear, or obligation. Life is too short to be used or lied to by those who cannot see your worth. When someone repeatedly manipulates or deceives you, cutting them out is not cruelty. It is courage, wisdom, and self-respect. It sends a message to yourself and to the world that you will no longer tolerate anything that diminishes your peace, distorts your truth, or undermines your soul. Have you ever shared a victory, big or small, and noticed the other person's response felt off? Maybe they changed the subject, minimized your achievement, or made a subtle comment that dampened your joy. At first, you might brush it off. Maybe they didn't mean it, or they're just quiet. But over time, a pattern emerges. The people who should be cheering for you, friends, colleagues, even family, are the ones who consistently fail to celebrate your happiness. Instead of support, there's jealousy, resentment, or indifference. This is one of the most subtle yet damaging signs that someone doesn't belong in your inner circle. True connections are built on mutual joy, encouragement, and respect. When someone is unable to share in your happiness, it reveals their mindset. They see your success as a threat rather than an inspiration. Their inability to celebrate you reflects their reflects their insecurities, and by staying around them, you allow those insecurities to cloud your life as well. It's easy to fall into the trap of excusing this behavior. You tell yourself, maybe they're just having a hard time, or maybe they don't realize how I feel. But consistently withholding support or showing subtle jealousy is not harmless. It's corrosive. Every time someone diminishes your achievements, your confidence is chipped away just a little. Slowly, you start doubting your worth, questioning whether you deserve happiness, or even hiding your success, to avoid triggering negativity. And that is no way to live. Choosing to cut someone out in these situations is an act of protection and love for yourself. It doesn't mean you are bitter or unkind. It means you recognize that your life is too valuable to be shared with people who cannot celebrate your light. You are allowed to surround yourself with those who cheer for you, who lift you up, and who genuinely feel joy for your wins, being around people who cannot celebrate your happiness keeps you small. Stepping away allows you to grow freely without invisible chains of resentment or envy holding you back. When you let go of those who cannot celebrate your success, you make room for genuine connections, people who inspire you, challenge you in healthy ways, and motivate you to become your best self. Life becomes lighter, brighter, and more fulfilling. You no longer hold back your joy out of fear of their reaction. You give yourself permission to shine fully without apology or hesitation. Remember, Hyamus is not just about achieving your goals. It's about sharing your journey with people who honor it. If someone consistently fails to celebrate you, it is not your duty to convince them to care. Your duty is to protect your peace, preserve your confidence, and nurture relationships that lift your spirit. Life is too short for silent applause, and the people who fail to cheer for you are only holding you back from the fullness of joy you deserve. As we come to the end, remember the shave, your life is your responsibility, and your peace is non-negotiable. The people you allow into your world shape your energy, your mindset, and your happiness. Some will lift you, inspire you, and celebrate you. Others will drain you, disrespect you, or dim your light. The courage to recognize who belongs in your life and who doesn't is not selfish. It is an act of wisdom, self-respect, and love for yourself. Every time you set boundaries, step away from negativity, refuse manipulation, or distance yourself from those who cannot celebrate your happiness, you are choosing freedom. You are choosing clarity. You are choosing to live a life filled with people who bring out the best in you rather than the worst. So today, make a quiet but powerful promise to yourself to protect your energy, honor your heart, and never settle for relationships that steal your peace. Your happiness is precious, and those who cannot respect it do not belong in your story. Surround yourself with those who uplift, inspire, and truly celebrate your journey, because life is far too short to spend it any other way.